Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you're doing fantastic out there. I've been on YouTube almost 12 years now, and this is the most important video that I have ever done in the history of being on YouTube. I have over 2,000 videos. This is a very, very difficult topic that I'm going to be talking about today. So I hope that you guys bear with me through this topic. I'm going to probably stumble a little bit. Just bear with me. This is an important one. This is a video that I did not want to do, but I'm doing it because I was asked to. I was asked to share my thoughts on some of the events that are going on in the world and even in our own country. This is going to be a hard one, folks. This is going to be a hard video. I'm going to be talking about Israel. I'm going to be talking about Palestine. I'm going to be talking about Hamas. I'm going to be talking about a couple other things. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give some recommendations of things that I think will be beneficial to every American watching this video. And not just Americans, but people all over the world. So let's get started. If you're watching your television, you've probably seen the news that Israel has been brutally attacked. And they have declared war. They have dropped tons of bombs on the Gaza Strip and reduced them buildings down to rubble. Lots of war going on. It's so unfortunate what's happened here. Now, before I get deeper into Israel and all this, I need to tell you guys, if you're new to the channel and you don't know the history of me, you haven't been watching me a long time, I want you to know that I am a military veteran. I've served in the United States Navy, and in the early 90s, I was in the Persian Gulf. I spent time in the Middle East. I've been to many countries over there. I've talked to a lot of people while I was in that area, and my opinions might be different than the opinion of other person who's never stepped foot in those areas. So let me come back to Israel. I stand with Israel 100%. I think that the Israel people are very peaceful people. They're a religious people. They love their families. They love their kids. They don't want conflict. They don't want violence. They don't want war. Now, that statement does not mean that I'm against Palestine either. Because in my humble opinion, I think Palestine is the same type of people that I think of the people in Israel. I think that they're also loving people, also religious, also just want to see their kids grow and have a smile on their face. They don't want conflict more either. I think they're cut from the same cloth as the Israeli people, the Palestinians, and us Americans. I think we're all good people. The bad part of this situation, in my opinion, is there's a lot of history between Palestine and Israel that has created tension between those two. So they might hate Israel, some of the Israelis might hate them. But as an outsider looking at it, I think they're all loving people. Now, Hamas is a completely different story. Hamas is a group of young men that were stolen as infants, as babies, from all corners of the globe. They were trafficked children, not into sex traffic, but they were trafficked children that were being groomed since they were babies. They are a group of people that are trying their best to just survive, to stay alive. And so that means that they are following orders. Orders given to them from the very corrupt officials from Iran. Their objective is one thing, and that is to destroy the United States of America, to kill Americans. Recently, the leader of Hamas came out publicly in a video and gave them the orders to have worldwide jihad on Friday, the 13th of October. That is tomorrow. We have open borders for the last 2 years, which has allowed hundreds of thousands of Hamas refugees in from our southern border into the United States of America. And like I just mentioned, they are now being ordered to start violence tomorrow. Hezbollah, not to be confused with Hasbullah, which is the little guy that hangs around with Khabib Nurmagomedov, the fighter. That guy's cool, that little Hezbollah. But I'm talking about Hezbollah. This is an organization of individuals, probably 100,000 strong, from Lebanon. They have pledged their allegiance to Iran. And Iran is the ones that, like I mentioned, that has attacked Israel. But Hamas is the one that I want to keep my focus on. They're dangerous, folks. This is not a time for more political divide. This video is not created. I'm not doing this video to scare you. I'm not doing this to fearmonger. I'm not here to say, I was right, you were wrong. You left, you right, whatever. I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to say 45, 46. I'm here to lay out the facts of what I know. We are far beyond the time of arguing about politics. We need to come together as American people like we should have a long time ago and protect our country. Our president, in exchange for some hostages, I think there was 5 or 6 hostages, our president gave Iran, he unfroze the funds to Iran of $6 billion. We got our hostages back. And then a couple days later, he gave almost $5 billion to Israel. And he stands by Israel. America stands by Israel. They are one of our allies. They're good people. Currently, as I shoot this video, there is a Navy battle group in the Mediterranean Sea as I film right now. For those of you who are not aware of what a battle group is, that is an aircraft carrier with a full flight wing, usually some guided missile cruisers. There might be a supply ship involved, a couple submarines maybe. There could be an amphibious ship that might have Marines on board, or maybe even Navy SEALs. There's usually a supply ship, and that is a huge military presence. That is a powerful thing to have a battle group in an area. Interesting to know, though, there is a second battle group heading that direction from the United States. We also have Delta Force and SEAL Team 6 on standby, ready to deploy to that location. Israel is one of our allies. We're there to have their back. But let's not lose focus of the hundreds of thousands of Hamas individuals that have came in through our southern border that are currently in the United States of America with orders to strike tomorrow. Now, this is not a group of people that you can look at and pick them out and say, okay, there they are right there because they look a certain way. Like I said, when they were babies, they came from all corners of the globe. So Hamas is made up of all different ethnicities. There are Caucasians, there are Hispanics, there are Asians, there are Arabs, Native Americans, German, French, you name it. They all make up this group of people that have been groomed since childhood. And in an effort to survive, they have learned that they must follow orders. They are not afraid to kill. They are not afraid to do what they are told. That is what has kept them alive. Our administration is giving them $2,200 a month because they're refugees. $2,200 a month to live on. They're also having a place to stay. They're getting free medical care. They're getting transportation. They're getting cell phones, all paid for by our United States tax dollars. The bad part is, when we had a terrible exit strategy from Afghanistan, we left $85 billion of our military equipment in Afghanistan. Some of the finest military equipment on the planet that is now in the hands, at the time it was in the hands of the Taliban, but now is in the hands of Hamas. That's unfortunate, because now when conflict kicks off, we are not dealing with an army of individuals that is armed with AK-47s that have 30 years of field service use on them with the barrels shot out that don't have any accuracy. We're dealing with modern, top-of-the-line weapons that were ours, that we paid for with our hard-earned tax dollars. Now again, this is not the time to be blaming who a person voted for or being pissed off about that. I'm mad about that. I'm furious about that. But what's important here is the information that I'm giving you is that they are on our soil as we speak, and it's about time that we all realize that we're Americans, because we got some heavy stuff that could potentially go down. If we think back to the tragic day of September 11th, 2001, I believe it was 19 individuals. I could be wrong on that number, so don't quote me. But I think 19 individuals with only box cutters hijacked 2 aircraft and flew them into the World Trade Centers and killed over 3,000 people. What do you think Hamas is going to do with modern weapons? It gives you a lot to think about. And now the administration is saying we need to close the southern border. Some people think that's a great thing. I think it's a day late and a dollar short. I really do, because they're already here. They've already came in. Everything is already here. It's kind of like the spy balloon. People were celebrating when they shot it down. That thing, that was so wrong the way they handled that. That thing should have been shot down before it even came over our land. But no, we're going to let it go all the way across the United States of America and gather any intelligence that it wants, send all of that information back, complete the mission fully, and then, oh, we're heroes now because we shot it down over the ocean after it was done. That's how I feel about the border being shut now. It's a little late, but this is the reality that we're looking at. I think it's very important all the time, not just tomorrow, but all the time. I think it's very important to maintain situational awareness. I see people all the time looking at their phone, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, looking at stuff, not paying attention to anything. That's a bad thing because we have gotten soft as a society. Not all of us, but I see a lot of people doing that. I don't blame them if they're watching my videos, but still, they need to be aware, right? They need to be aware. Because in my opinion, it's those people that have lost situational awareness that are going to be the ones that end up being statistics. Keep your head on a swivel, folks. We as American citizens have certain rights. We have freedom. We have the ability to live anywhere in this United States of America that we choose. If we want to live in Maine, we can do that. If we want to live in Florida, Texas, Montana, Colorado, Washington, Oregon, California, Arizona, we have the ability to do that. That is our right as Americans. It's also our right to vote. We exercise these rights. I live in Arizona. I vote. I exercise those rights. Another right that we have is the right to keep and bear arms. We have our Constitution of this country that gives us the right to keep and bear arms. But there's a lot of Americans that have forgotten about that right. I'm just here to raise awareness to remind you that we have the ability to do that. Now this one here that I just showed you is not the one that I would use if I was going to be getting in a firefight. This job of this one is to get me from point A to point B. Point B is where my rifle is. If we have some kind of firefight breakout on American soil, it's going to be with rifles. I could unload this whole magazine and be lucky if I score 1 or 2 hits on my target. It is a compact. But it's to get me through the fight to my rifle. So with that being said, I highly recommend that you get yourself a semi-automatic rifle if you don't have one already. Right now, we have the ability to do that. Guns are not banned. We can buy them. This right that we have to do that is something that we should exercise. If you can't afford it, maybe you need to put it on that credit card and get it now while you can. Because there could come a day where A, you need it, or B, you can't get it now. So get out there and get yourself an AR platform. I think that's important. Now I spoke earlier about $85 billion worth of our rifles and our military equipment in the hands of the Taliban. Some of those M4 rifles are in the hands of Hamas. We're not going to go against those with this. Absolutely not. I will be a statistic. This is not going to outdo something like that. You need a military style rifle. Also, I think it's very important to get a small backpack. If you don't have one, go hit the clearance aisle at your local store. Get you a $5 backpack and fill it full of first aid gear. And in that gear, make sure that you have a tourniquet and that you know how to apply a tourniquet. Make sure that you have some duct tape. Make sure that you have a headlamp that's waterproof, that can withstand rain. That'll give you hands-free light in the event that you need to treat someone and it's raining and there's water or blood or dark, whatever. Have some cotton rags or washcloths to clean a wound. Have some plastic in the event that you run into a sucking chest wound. If you don't know what a sucking chest wound is, I encourage you to please Google that. It's important to know what that is. Those rags also work well at cleaning off the blood. If you come across a victim has been shot and there's blood everywhere, you can get that blood out of the way a little bit and be able to more effectively apply that tourniquet to save that person's life. You might be saving your own life. We don't know. The plastic is for that sucking chest wound. The duct tape will help with that. You can also use the rags to more directly apply underneath the tourniquet to a specific area to stop bleeding. It's good knowledge to have. Just like having that rifle, like I mentioned with the tourniquet, having the knowledge and the skill and understanding of how to apply it also applies to your firearms. Be proficient with them. Know how they operate. Know how to use them. And I also recommend at least 3 magazines with your rifle at all times. That gives you about 90 rounds in the event that you get into any kind of firefight. I believe that's enough rounds to get you out of a situation and into a more safe location. Also, don't be far away from your rifle. I wouldn't have that thing more than probably 30 feet away. And if I'm going to go somewhere, I'd suggest putting it in the vehicle. You don't want it in plain sight, but put it somewhere in the truck, in the back seat, or whatever if you can. And take that with you, because you don't want to be down somewhere where you're going to get caught with your pants down and not have your rifle and all you have is a handgun. It's not going to be very effective. I mean, it's better than nothing, but it's not going to be as effective as it could be. Now, I was coming back. I went and visited my parents in New Mexico, and I was coming back on I-40 going west. I was going through Grants, New Mexico. And I saw 2 charter buses that had tinted windows with Texas plates on them. I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe that those charter buses could have been full of Hamas coming from El Paso. Juarez, Mexico is right there at El Paso. Why else would those windows be tinted? I saw that on I-40 West. I'm guessing that they're going to California. Now I know that these strikes, at least from what I believe, they are going to be in highly populated areas, big cities. If you think about the outskirts of the city and you see those concrete barricades that they use for detours and stuff when they're going to be doing traffic work or work on the roads, let's not forget that those barricades can easily be used to quarantine a city. I can take my truck and hook up to one of those and try like hell to pull it out of the way, but I don't think I'm going to be very effective at it. They're heavy. So in the event that something kicks off, it's important to have your supplies, your food, your water, your communications, your first aid, all of these things, and knowledge in your head, and a peace of mind. Not to have a mindset where you're going to panic in the event of something going down. Calm and collective, even in a time of adversity, you may have to learn how to find comfort in the uncomfortable. We as a society have grown so weak. There's a lot of woke people running around. So I hope that you guys keep your heads on a swivel. Stay situationally aware. Not just tomorrow, but all time. Don't be a statistic. Stay safe. And let me say one more thing before I go. Ultimately, above everything, God is in control. If you have faith in God, what more do you need? I hope this video helped you. Please feel free to leave comments down below. Do not get into a political debate in the comments section. You can have a mild debate. You can have a mild disagreement. But if I see any kind of hatred in the comments section, I'm not going to tolerate that. I will delete your comment without hesitation. So this ain't the place to be bullying people. Not in my comment section. Thank you for watching. Please thumb up this video and feel free to share it. Thank you for bearing with me through it. This was probably one of the most difficult videos I've done in a very long time. I love you all. Stay vigilant. God's in control. We're going to be all right. Have a good night. Stay safe. Bye for now.